Hey everyone, this is Lisa from the Rhinestone World, and in this video I'm going to show you how to design, cut, and weed your first vinyl decal with your new Silhouette Cameo. Here I am, I have my Silhouette Studio open, so we're getting ready for the designing part of our process. I'm going to be cutting my decal on this vinyl. This is part of our FDC line. This is our sign vinyl, and this is Breakfast Blue. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make my decal to be a monogram. They're really easy to do, and you can sell them easily depending on where you are in the country. We'll go to our text tool over on the left side, and you'll see that my cursor turned into that little line. I'll click in my workspace and type out my monogram. So I'll do L, capital P, and then M. So right now it just defaults to Arial. That is what your text will default in your Silhouette Studio. So now you can click on here and choose what font you want to use. There are a lot of different monogram fonts you can use. You can even get them from different websites. I have one that I like to use called Vine Monograms. I purchased this from a website, and I also purchased it with the commercial license. That way I can sell this and I don't have to worry about any copyright infringement. Be careful when you do purchase fonts. You want to make sure that you have commercial license if you are selling, just to be fair to the person who created it. And now I can stretch this out a little bit. So when you're working with vinyl and Silhouette, you want to realize that every line that shows up in here will cut in your software. And one way to check to see if your lines are going to cut or not is you can go right here to your cut panel, and anything that's going to cut is going to be this thick line. So everything here is a thick line because it's going to cut. So we need to get rid of these overlapping lines. We're going to go right here to our modify panel with the M, and we're going to press this button here called Weld. Now these overlapping lines are gone. Now this isn't text anymore, it's an object, and so we're ready to color this in to see what we're working with. So we have this here. Now if you click on it, you can see the dimensions of your design right here. So right now this is about 3.574 inches wide. I want this to be about a 5-inch decal. So you can go and stretch it like this, or I like to program exactly how wide I want my design to be. This button right here is called Scale. You can scale it up or down by percentages, but you can also specify dimensions, which is what I like to do. So I want this to be about 5 inches wide. Press 5. If you have lock aspect checked, then this keeps it proportional. So go right here, apply. So now I have my design larger. Now when we cut on vinyl, we're going to cut it just like we see it, because this is how it's going to apply. Now with other vinyls you have to flip it, but this is how we want it set. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to make it easier on me to weed it when I'm done. I'm going to draw a box around here. So rectangle tool, and draw this. This makes it easier to pull up when I'm weeding, and I don't waste material on my vinyl. So we'll set it up like this, and now we need to double check our cut settings. I'm going to be cutting this on a cutting mat, so I'm going to go over here to my design page settings, and right down here I want to set it to cutting mat, and I'm going to cut it on my Cameo. If you have a Cameo 3, it's very important to make sure you check that setting when you're working with it. Because there is no load media or load mat option like in previous Cameo models, you want to make sure you do that, otherwise you're going to cut into your cutting mat. So we'll go right here to our cut settings. We're going to do standard. You'll see all of this is bold. Now there are a couple different options that you can do. Silhouette does pre-program some settings in here. You can go through there and check it and see how it works. I like to program my own settings in Silhouette Studio. So you can do that by using this plus and minus arrow, and we do have some videos available on our YouTube channel where I have done that. So I'm going to go right here to my FDC setting, and now you can see that I'm using my automatic blade in my Cameo. My speed's at 1, I want it to be slow, so I'm going to bring it up. This is a larger design, so I can bring my speed up faster. And my thickness is at a 4. Your thickness is how much pressure your cutter is putting down on your material. Basically what you're saying is my material is this thick, so the cutter knows to put down that much pressure. So we're going to keep it at 4, and now I'm just going to go ahead, load my material into my Silhouette, and then once I'm ready, I'm going to send it to my cutter. Here's my cutting mat, and here's my vinyl. So I'm going to place my vinyl onto my cutting mat. So let's lift off this carrier, This little protective sheet has a dull side and also a really smooth side. So this is the side that goes on your cutting mat when you place this back on there. Here's my vinyl. Now the cutting mat has a grid on there, so you're going to line up your vinyl with the grid. So we'll bring it like this and smooth it on out. When we cut vinyl, we want to make sure that we're cutting into the vinyl but not through this paper backing. So that's how we adjust our thickness, and that's how you check. So we'll turn on our Cameo. This is the Cameo 3. And to load in your cutting mat, you want to line it up with this line here. So we're going to take our cutting mat, line it up here, and you can see it'll go right through there. We're all set, and then do load. Now in my software, I have my design all ready to cut. So I'm going to go ahead into my software and I'm going to go to cut. So we'll go down here, send to Silhouette. And right now the blade is adjusting itself. It's going to set it to the thickness that we set it to. My decal is done cutting. We're just waiting on this to stop processing. And now I can unload. Now I have my cutting mat. I'm going to turn off my Cameo, move it to the side to make it easier to weed this out. Now you can see I have my design cut on here. I'm going to take my cutting mat, flip it over, and peel my mat off of my decal. This keeps my vinyl from rolling and getting that curled look. You can see it a little bit there. I'm going to take this and cover this just to keep it safe. And now I'm just going to go ahead and start weeding this. So I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to grab my tool. So now we need to take out the excess around our decal. This process is called weeding. You're going to weed out what you don't need. And because I used a box, I can go right here, find my box with my tool, and then go ahead and bring this up. And you should have everything stay behind easily. And that's a reason why you want to do what's called a test cut. So at the bottom of the cut panel that we were in, you would just do test cut. This will cut a little square with a triangle in it, and you can weed out the square from the triangle to see how it works. And you can see that this is a good cut. Now, if you're cutting your decal and you weed it out fine, but you have trouble picking it up, check to see how the paper backing looks. A lot of times if you cut too thick, then you're kind of wedging your vinyl into your paper backing a bit, and that's one thing that'll make it hard to lift up. So we're just going to grab the rest of this in here. And this will take a little bit longer than some decals just because I'm doing a more intricate design. There's a lot of inside parts that need to be taken out for this. So I just have a couple more left. And I like to put the little pieces on my hand when I'm weeding it. It's easy to just bring it over. And I have one right here that I missed. Right, we have that all set here. And now you can see our decal is almost done. So we're going to go over here and I'm going to cut it out of my vinyl. I'm going to keep it like this. I'm going to set this to the side, and then I'm actually just going to peel that little piece up. Right, so my decal itself is all set. Now all I have to do is prepare it to be applied. Now, this is a little bit different than stickers. You don't just peel this up and put it down. We're going to use a transfer tape to get it to go onto whatever we're applying it to. This is my transfer tape. This is called R tape. It's AT65. Now there are different application tapes that you can use, and some people even use contact paper or painter's tape. Now those methods can work if you need them to, but I always recommend getting a good quality application tape because you want it to work quickly and easily. If you're just starting off making decals and you have the wrong application tape, then the whole process is frustrating. So we're going to drop our tape down, I'm going to go ahead and cut this little piece. I can save that for later. I'm going to put this down, and now I'm just going to use my scraper to burnish this. So you want your vinyl to really be stuck onto this tape, because this is how your decal is going to be placed onto something. So we'll go like this. And now I'm going to trim off this excess tape. Let's say I'm going to mail this out, or I want to give this to someone. You know, you want it to look nice. So you could even buy a paper trimmer and use your paper trimmer to kind of make your lines even. I'm just going to freehand it. So we have these all set. And now your decal is all done. Whenever you do want to apply it, you just want to make sure your surface is clean. No dust, no debris, no oil. And then you'll just find the tape on here, lift up your tape, and you'll see that your decal comes up with it. Then you'll apply it on, and then once it is applied, you take your tape back off. So when you apply a decal, you're going to put it on your car, laptop, whatever, and then once your decal is on your surface, then the tape will come back up. The tape is only used to transfer it. It is not meant to stay on your vehicle. So if you have any other questions, you can email us at info@therinestoneworld.com. Hey everyone, if you want to use the materials in this video, this is our FDC decal vinyl. It's part of our 4200 series, and this is called Breakfast Blue. We also have the application tape available. It is our tape AT65. It is decal application tape. Both of those things are available on our website at therinestoneworld.com.